underneath our hips and allowing the toes to point forwards. And if you feel comfortable enough, just allow the eyes to close. Breath to come and go nice and gently. Breathing gently in and out of the rib cage. And we'll allow that breath to come in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just finding that softness in the breath. Just take a moment to check in on your posture. See how it's feeling for you today. Focus to come into our feet then. So we'll allow our weight to gently track over the front of the feet. And then we'll track our weight around to one side, into the heel, around to the opposite side. And we'll make that big circle. And as we do, let's just notice where we grip, where we're tightening as we circle around. And then let's go in the opposite direction, finding that circle in the opposite way. Circle to just spiral gently inwards. Find that place where your weight's right in the centre of your 2 feet. In that place, just allowing yourself to find a sense of energy through your feet. So a sense that the inner arch of the foot is gently lifting. Find a little softness into the knees. Awareness into the pelvis. So let's gently tip the pelvis forwards, gently tip the pelvis back. Take it through those 2 extremes. That place where it feels as though the tailbone is descending down towards the space between the heels, and we can allow our spine to lengthen really tall from there. Yes, let's lift the shoulders, and we'll roll the shoulders gently back and down. And again, the shoulders gently lift and roll back and down. Let's take 3 more like that. Slide the shoulders together. We're going to slide them gently down towards the tailbone, and we're making a soft V-like shape from the shoulders gliding towards the tailbone. Now, as we find that connection with the muscles gliding towards the tailbone, let's allow tailbone to pubic bone to draw those muscles in and up. So from the tailbone to the pubic bone, the pelvic floor is drawing inwards and gently drawing upwards. Taking a few nice deep breaths there, allowing yourself to just observe that posture, feeling that strong sense of the shoulders descending down at the same time as that sense of the pelvic floor lifting up. Take a breath, let the right ear dip over to the right shoulder. The head lift up and over to the opposite side. And again, the head lifts up and over to the right side. And again, the head lifts up and over to the second side. Bringing the head into the centre, let's allow the head to gently rotate round to the right side. Breathing in as we come back to the centre and rotating round to the opposite side. And direction. Back to the centre, let's allow the chin to tuck towards the chest. Allowing the head to become nice and heavy, we'll start to roll gently down through the spine. Deep breath at the bottom there, and then we'll breathe out as we roll up through the spine. Allowing the head to come on top. Last thing of all, let's lift the shoulders, roll the shoulders back and down. Both arms can float forwards and up. Breathing in as the arms float back down. Let's roll down through the spine once again. Head is nice and heavy, rolling gently down through the spine, coming down through the vertebrae. Nice deep breath at the bottom, and then breathing out as we roll back up through the spine. Lifting the shoulders, roll them back and down, let both arms float forwards and up. Breathing in as the arms float back down, take a little softening through the knees and let those arms open out to the side. Lovely. And releasing there. Once again, releasing through the top of the head, rolling down through the spine, coming down through the vertebrae bit by bit. Deep breath at the bottom, we roll up through the spine. Again, the head comes on top, we roll the shoulders back and down, both arms float forwards and up. Breathing in as the arms float back down, take a little softening through the knees, tailbone descends down, top of the head stays reaching up. Lovely. Lengthening the legs there. Let's take a little side bend up and over to the right side. Lovely. Coming through the centre, up and over to the second side. Now let that shoulder, the one that we're leaning towards, let it drop down. So feel as though you're gliding the fingertips down the side of the leg. Coming into the centre, release the top of the head, rolling down through the spine. Let's allow ourselves to take a little bend of the knees here. So we'll allow ourselves to really crease into the hips, into the knees. Heels can lift. Press the heels back into the ground. Let the head become heavy. And again, rolling up through the spine. Head comes on top. We lift the shoulders, roll them back and down. Both arms float forwards and up. Breathing in as the arms float back down. Softening through the knees. Yeah, take that plie. And lengthening the legs up and over to the right side. If you want to add the top arm in, do. Through the centre, up and over to the second side. Off there, draw the fingertips in towards the centre. We'll take our spine twist, just check that the knees are soft for me, they're not locking. Hips are nice and stable, and we rotate gently round. Coming back to the centre, rotating gently round to the opposite side. Breath in as we come back to the centre. Side. Whole pattern again, so releasing through the top of the head, rolling down through the vertebrae, finding that softness through the knees. Let the heels lift away from the floor as you bend through the knees, rolling up again through the spine. When we get there, we roll them back and down. Both arms float forwards and up. Let's see if we can get the shoulders to really glide down the back as we do. Breathing in as we float the arms back down. Take a little plie, just bend through the knees. Let's add a little squat in here just to really explore the difference. So we're lengthening the legs there. Bending, sinking back into the pelvis, we reach forwards. We lengthen the legs. We'll do that plie again. So as if you're sliding down a wall, we bend the knees. This time it goes into the heels as we hinge at the hips. So sliding down the wall, sinking all the way back. In those side bend, up and over to the right side. Good. Coming through the centre, up and over to the opposite side. And we'll feel that we're stretching the fingertips down at the same time as the opposite arm is reaching the fingertips up. So we get a real sense of being extended out through the spine. More like that for me. And this time bend the knees and then we'll create a little curve. Got my ballet arms on all of a sudden. The arms to your sides as we take our spine twists. So really strengthening through the core as we allow the rib cage to rotate round. Make sure the pelvis doesn't come with you. Breathing in as you return back and rotating around to the opposite side. Now see if you can keep those arms wide of you, so they're not going to suddenly come in front. We're not taking a kind of bow and arrow, we're going to keep them really extended out. Let's imagine that we've still got our coat hanger in our shirt, in our top, so the arms are having to stay really nice and wide. One more on each side, and if you need to bend the arms, bring the fingers together, that's fine. To the centre, give the arms a little shake out and a little wriggle if you need one. So still with those feet just underneath us, let's roll the shoulders back and down. Let's allow the hands to come up just in front of us. Take a deep breath, let the arms open out to the side. Let's explore our range of movement through the shoulder there. Taking 2 more. Right arm, circle around without spilling anything from that we're balanced our right hand with, and then change into the other side. So let's check we've got that little core connection. We're really connecting up through the pelvic floor. One more on each side. And then let's allow those hands to extend up towards the sky, letting the elbows go wide. Take a nice deep breath and we'll reach the fingers up and then we'll draw the elbows down. So let's see if we can keep the shoulders really gliding down the back with the fingertips moving up and then coming back down. Lovely. 2 more like that. And floating the arms all the way down. Lovely. Taking a breath, we'll allow the right leg to lift. Floating the leg down, change over to the other side. At no point did I say you might want to open your eyes now. Should have said that as we came into our balance work. Let's allow the eyes to be open. Let's allow the opposite arm to float forwards. Lovely. Yeah, nice, good. Changing over to the other side. So we'll add in that little knee opener there. So allowing the knee to open out to the side. I'm going to take the arm with me because it helps for balance. It helps me for balance. And floating down, keeping that sense of being nicely connected through the tummy. Check that we're soft on the supporting knee. So although the supporting knee, leg is lengthened, we're not locking into that knee. Feeling a forward lunge coming on from here. So let's allow ourselves to bring the leg back forwards, and then we'll take a big step forwards and bend that back knee. Lovely. Transfer the weight. Oh. And then float back down. So we'll lift the leg, take a big step forwards. Now, sinking down, as you go back, open your arms up like wings. And you kind of can really pull in through the tummy, shoulders glide down, it helps to stabilise you. Let's do it again on each side. We'll lift and big step forwards. Sinking down, back heel is lifted and bringing the arms in. Fabulous. Floating down. And again, we lift. Big step forwards and taking the weight back. Now, who's feeling adventurous here? Let's extend to the side. Coming back into the centre. Bringing the foot down. Good, let's change over to the other side. So big step forwards, sinking down, take it back. If you can, hold the balance. If you need to touch down and then reconnect, do. And then we reach away. coming back in. One more on each side. We sink forwards, hoik the weight back, and extend over to the side. Now come on in for me. Find that balance once again. Here it is. Bend in the knee, straighten in the knee. And floating down, changing over to the other side. So it's a supporting knee that I'm bending there. Big step forwards, we sink, transfer the weight back and catch. Over to the side. Woo! Come back in, just for extra challenge. See if you can take that plie that we did earlier. We just roll one leg, and then we lengthen. Fabulous, well done guys, good. Let's allow ourselves to come down to the floor and we'll bring ourselves onto hands and knees. If you want to roll down through the spine, that's marvellous. If you need to adjust your camera, that's also marvellous. I have to pull these leggings up, they fall down, these ones. Good. Once we're there, let's get into our spine with a nice cat stretch. So we've got a nice squeeze in the tummy. Let's push the back up into the sky. Let's let the head drop between the arms, tailbone points down. And we'll lengthen the head and the tail away from one another. And then again, we'll push the back up into the sky. Let the head drop between the arms, tailbone points down. And lengthen the head and the tail away from one another. Just taking two more like that. Really sturdy base here. So we've got the tailbone lengthening in one direction, head extending in the other direction, and the shoulders are gliding down the back. We're going to scoop up through the tummy, so we're really connecting, feeling that the belly button is drawing away from the floor. Take a nice deep breath. As we breathe out, we're going to stretch the right leg away from us. And we'll breathe in as that leg returns. And then breathing out, let's slide the opposite leg away. And draw that leg back in. From extending the leg out and away, breathe in as the leg returns. Lovely. Keep it going for me. I want you to just take a moment to think about the upper body. So we're going to make sure that the head isn't dropping towards the floor, but we've got a sense that the back of the neck is lengthening towards the sky and the back of the skull is lengthening up towards the sky. Let's allow the opposite arm to lengthen. So we've got that sense of real strength through the torso, opposite arm to leg extends away. We've got a cup of tea balanced on each shoulder blade and a cup of coffee balanced on the pelvis. Lengthening out through the crown of the head, lengthening out through the tailbone. Now, if you feel you want to, we're going to get it there and we're going to kind of hold that long line, fingertip to toe. Let's take a little circle of the leg. Circle, as if you're drawing a circle on the wall behind you with your toe. Just 3, and then float the leg and the arm back in. Changing over to the other side. Lengthen opposite arm to leg away, and we circle. 3, 2, draw the arm and the leg back in. If you're feeling really clever, the arm circles at the same time as the leg. So you take a little 3, shoulders and hips stay nice and level and still. In, be sure to keep that lower back really well supported with a squeeze in through the tummy. 3, 2, hold it for me there, just sit back onto your heels. Lengthen the arms out in front of you. Rest the forehead and breathe nice and gently. We'll spread the fingers from here. I just want to have a little see about how our hips are feeling today. So we're going to allow the right knee to just slide through the gap between our hands. Done this one very much on these live classes because it's a tricky one to manoeuvre ourselves into. This right foot is going to shuffle across us, so it's not going to go to the outside of us, it's going to the inside of us. Okay, so you're here, so this is what it looks like. If you're thinking that's not going to work for me, come into that 90-90 position that we've come into before. Yeah, and it can be that it's a bit tighter. Yeah, and we're just going to see about allowing that hip to release. So some of us will have the leg extended behind us, and then you're just easing yourself forwards into that stretch. So it's a really nice intense one for the hip flexor and for the glutes and for the lower back. But as I say, some of us will want our knees to be bent with the front foot near to the opposite knee. And others of us may think, I'm going to have to do cross-legged because that's no use for me either. Releasing from there, so from there I'm going to bring that front foot back in and slide back to hands and knees, and then I'm going to slide the opposite leg through. I'm going to try and shuffle this foot across me. Go really gentle, and if your knee starts to complain, come out of the stretch. So if your knee starts to tell you no, we want to listen to the knee. If your buttock starts to tell you no, ignore that, that's fine. That's where we want it to be talking to us. Ease yourself forwards if that feels like a good stretch for you. Releasing from there, we're going to come down onto our fronts. So we'll come down onto our tummies. Allow the elbows to go nice and wide when we get there, and allow the nose to hover just an inch away from the floor. There, we'll take a little connection into those core muscles. So I tend to find in this position, I find the belly button drawing up quite a useful image because I've got that kinesthetic feedback from the ground, so I'm trying not to let my belly button relax into the floor. We take a nice deep breath from there, and as we breathe out, we let the shoulders glide down the back, crown of the head lengthens out and away, and the breastbone starts to lift. And we breathe in as we float back down. Breathing out, the shoulders glide down the back, head extends out and away. And we breathe in as we float back down. If we feel as though we want a little bit more challenge, the arms hover an inch or so away from the floor. Today, see about stretching the arms out and away, and then as we float back down, we'll draw the shoulders down the back. So as we lift up, the arms stretch forwards, as if we were doing a sort of a Superman-y sort of thing, and then we'll draw the shoulders back and down. Do you know what? We could actually do a real Superman here, I've just realised. Because Superman only ever did one arm at a time, didn't he? So we could do Superman pushing one arm forwards and the other arm back, come down, change to the other side. So one arm pushes forwards and one arm pulls back, and we come back down. One more on each side with each arm, or just two more if you're using symmetrical arms. So to come back to that child's pose position and release into the back. ourselves onto our side, and we'll allow ourselves to lengthen out into a nice long line there. On top of one another, and we'll just allow ourselves to be able to see our toes so that the feet aren't swinging behind us as we lift the legs up. And we've got the head resting down onto our bottom arm. Now let's just make sure that arm's as straight in line with our body as we can. Have a little play with whether you need to have the hand facing downwards. If it's facing upwards, it'll be that little bit more challenging because you can't grip to the ground. So we take a nice deep breath. Your top hand might be resting on the floor, but you might not need it to be. As we breathe out, the top leg stretches away. Feel as it stretches away that it starts to create more length between your rib cage and your hip. Good. Keep reaching and lengthening there. Feel that pull, that engagement in the core muscles. Nice and deep with the breath. Let's have a little play around with that bottom foot. We're going to allow it to lift and then float back down. Let's take 4 more like that. Now, you're not thinking about lifting your foot. I want you to think about lifting your leg from your hip socket. Lift and lengthen. Look to stretch away. More here. Keep that leg reaching. Now both legs are reaching and lengthening. Feel as though you're standing on the skirting board. Top leg is going to gently circle. So it might be that that circle is the size of a ping pong ball, and that's fine. We're squeezing in through the tummy. This is a stability exercise. This is a stamina exercise. So I'm holding you here. As we circle the leg, the larger the circle is, the more of a challenge it is to our balance. It's brilliant to make the circle big, but if you're thinking it's really challenging to keep both legs up, that's okay, but keep the circle smaller or keep it still. Finishing off there for me, float both the legs down, softening through the knees. Lovely. Take a nice deep breath, tip the top hip forwards, squeezing in through the tummy. We're going to take 3 little knee lifts. You're going to lift and lower, and lift and lower, and lift, and hold it for me down. Take a bicycle with the foot, so the foot pushes forwards, around, take it to its full pathway if you can, make it as big a circle as you can, really squeezing in through the tummy. Last one, bring the knees back together, both feet lift for the sky. Hold the toes high, top knee lifts. 3, 1, stretch the toe away, squeeze in through the tummy. 3, and lift, and 2. Load it up there, circle the foot, circle 3, 2. Come together, knee comes down, float the feet down. We're going to reverse our cycle. So we push back and circle forwards. Come on in, strong through the core, push back through the heel and circle forwards and in, circle forwards, hold the leg out in front of you, squeeze in through the tummy, a little lift and lower. We've got 3 and 2 and 1, and then push the leg 2 away from you. See if we can really stretch it away, 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 and we've got a little pulse. 3 and 2 and 1. Lovely. Bringing that leg in, foot comes to the bottom, stretch out through the front of the thigh. So we're getting that nice stretch down the front of the thigh. top shoulder to release down and away so it's not riding up towards the ear. Release in there. If you've got a cushion, grab it now. We're going to bring both the arms forwards, rest the head down on your cushion, and then we'll take our opening up like a book. Breath, and the top arm gently opens. Breathing in as the arm returns. Good, keep that going for me while I have a slurp of my tea. Come onto your back, let's take a little stretch of that glute. So the one that's just been working, the one that's on that was the top leg, that foot's going to come across the knee. And then we're going to weave our hands around the leg that's got the foot resting on the floor. And we'll ease the legs in close to us. Release in there. Coming onto your side once again, we're going to come up onto our elbow and take some side bends. So we're going to bring our elbow underneath our shoulder. We might want our feet to be in line with the bottom and our knees in front of us. If you want a slightly more advanced option, the knees can be in line with the pelvis and the feet can go behind you. If you want to do the full legs extended away, you can do that too. So we're in that nice long line. We're here and the rib cage kind of droops down. So I want you to get a nice sense of rib cage lift, and it should feel quite active. Then we're going to open up both the shoulders, let that bottom arm be reaching down the back. Bottom arm, that top arm's reaching towards the top leg and the shoulders are gliding down the back. You're strong through the core, pelvis lifts, arm extends out and away. Breathing in as we float back down and we lift. And soften back down, good. And again we lift. This one up there, we're going to take a little thread in the needle through. Thread on through, breathing in as we return back. Keep that going for me, take two more. Now you know that if it's too much on the elbow, you can do the same thing up high. Those of us that are hypermobile might find it easier to be on the elbow so that we don't lock out through the joint. But if it's better to be up on your wrist, then that's all marvellous. Finishing off there, come on down, come to a seated position and let's go wide with the legs. In this position really tricky, you can have a little seat, a little cushion underneath your bottom just to give you that little extra rise, and that usually helps to just give you a little bit of lift and allows the spine to just lengthen a little bit more for you. Let's lift the shoulders from there and we'll roll the shoulders back and down, and again the shoulders can lift and roll back and down, just taking two more like that. Lovely. And as those shoulders glide down the back, take a deep breath and we'll allow the head to gently tip over to the right side. And then the head lifts up and over to the opposite side. So often I find that when my neck or my shoulders start to feel really tight or really uncomfortable, it's often something to do with my glutes or my thighs, somewhere around there that's got overly tight. So I just find it quite amazing how a little bit of neck and shoulder work when you're in this position can really be helpful. Finishing off there, Let's take a nice deep breath. We'll just see if we can allow ourselves to ease a little bit further forwards. And we might find that that intensifies a bit of a stretch in the inner thigh. So we're really gently creeping forwards. Shoulders are just going to melt down the back. So we don't need to put any extra tension through the shoulders. And let the breath be flowing really deep and full, nice and gently. Stay for me for a moment. Let the head curve forwards. So you're curving forwards. And now let's stretch the tailbone away from us, stretch out through the top of the head. Really feel as though you're lengthening away. Good, keep that going for me. I'm going to show you once on the side. So we'll take like a curve forwards. And then with an outward breath, we'll stretch it all out and away. Tailbone stretches back behind us. And notice how that really intensifies the stretch. Curve. And then lengthen. Shoulders glide down and away. Lifting up. Let's do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to leave that cushion there for a moment because we're going to do our side bend work. So, we're going to allow the elbow to be underneath us unless our elbows feel a little bit not so nice in this one. Hips are on top of one another. So again, when we get there, we've often got the shoulder coming really close to our ear. So we want to see if we can imagine there's a balloon inflating underneath our rib cage and the shoulder glides down the back. Those of us that have got sort of not very strong shoulder stabilizers, we are working really hard already when we're here. So take a nice deep breath. As you breathe out, pelvis lifts. Breathe in as you float back down. Beautiful. Keep that going for me. Floating up, floating down, no starts, no stops. So you're just touching down on the ground and then you're coming back up again. See if we can let the top hip really lead the way. This is the one, guys. So you're up the top there. We're going to curve through the space. These are our obliques we're working here. Just to allow us to stay looking fabulous in our bikinis on Western Seafront. Softening back down. Wonderful. Let's allow ourselves to come out into that nice long line. I'm getting my cushion out of the way now. And stretching out and away. Really nicely aligning ourselves, allowing those hips to be on top of one another and allowing the head to rest on down. Top hand may want to rest on the floor to start off with. I want the lifting up of the hand to be your first challenge. So we take a nice deep breath. We're going to stretch the top leg away from us, extending that leg out and away. Beautiful. Take a nice deep breath and we're going to see if we can lift the bottom leg, extend and lengthen, and then we'll soften it back down and play around with whether you can keep that hand resting on the floor or you can lift the hand back off. Strong through the core. Just take two more like that. Last one, and we lift. Good. Hold it for me there. Take a moment. Tailbone descends down. So as the tailbone descends down, you've got more of a sense of connection across the front here. Top leg circles. We've got 4. It might be a little circle, it might be a large circle, and that's all right. Top shoulder gliding down the back. Like that 4. And floating the legs down. Draw the legs back in. Draw the legs in. Nice squeeze in the tummy. Tip the top hip slightly forwards. 4 lifts. We lift and lower. And lift and lower. We're going to take our little cycle. So this leg's going to come in, Push through the heel of the foot and then cycle back. Draw on in, just 2 more. Nice squeeze in the tummy. There, bring the knees back together, both the feet lift, lift. Top knee's going to lift up. 3, 2, for me, stretch that leg away. Toe lifts, draw in. No beginnings, no ends, so it's smooth all the way through. As if you're wading through treacle the whole way through. Hold it up there, 3 little circles. 3, 2, 1, floating down. Now we're going to backtrack, back cycle, bicycle backwards. I can't think what that terminology is. Let's keep it coming back. One forwards. Hips are nice and still. We gently circle for 3 and 2. Stretch it away from you. Hips stay nice and still. And we've got 3 and 2. That's it, Leslie. Yeah. And 1. And draw that foot up towards your bottom. Take a hold of it. And we can stretch out through the front of the thigh. Lovely, good. Top shoulder releases away. Allowing yourself to really release into that stretch there. In there. Pop that cushion underneath your head if you've got one to hand. Allowing both the arms to come forwards. Resting the head down. We take a nice deep breath. Top arm gently opens, eyes are fixed on the hand. Then as the arm returns. Arm opens gently out. There, and then we'll allow ourselves to come onto our backs and we'll stretch out through that glute. So coming onto our backs, across us, the one that's just been working, and then we'll weave our hands around the supporting leg and ease the leg in close to us. Releasing the legs down there. Let's allow ourselves to find a nice neutral position. If you want to keep hold of the cushion, you can do. If you want to get rid of it, that's fine. Those of us that our chins tend to jut upwards, you might prefer to keep the cushion underneath the head. It will give you a little bit more support. So we'll find that nice neutral position of the pelvis. In fact, let's take a little tip forwards and back, and you might even want to take a little tip from side to side to find that place where it feels as though hip bone and pubic bone are level with one another. Once we get there, we're going to squeeze in through the core muscles. So find a connection through the tummy, find a drawing in through the pelvic floor. Take a nice deep breath and we'll glide the right leg away from us. And we breathe in as the leg returns. We'll slide the opposite leg away, and as we do, its opposite arm extends up and over the head. Breathing in as the arm and the leg return. So as the right leg stretches away, the left arm extends up and over the head. We've got the shoulder sinking down into the ground. here, let's allow the leg to slide away from us, keeping the hips nice and stable and still. And then we're going to keep that leg extending and allow it to extend away in almost that circular pathway until the knee comes to hover above the hip socket. Let's allow the knee to just gently open out to the side. Breathe in as it returns back and then float the leg back down. Same on the other side. Opposite arm to leg stretches away. And then keep it sweeping as it draws into that modified 100 position. Knee opens out to the side, drawing that leg back in and floating the leg and the arm back down. Now, as I do that, I'm bringing the arm back to lengthen up towards the sky as the leg comes to the 90-degree angle. I'm opening the arm out at the same time as the knee, and then I'm floating the arm down at the same time as the toe floats down. If you want to, you can bring the other arm into play as well, so the other arm can lengthen up towards the sky as the leg comes in, and then just allow that opposite arm to open out to the side. Floating the foot down. If you want to add a little abdominal curl up in as you float the toe down, you can do. And then we release the head down. So we stretch the leg away and then draw the leg back in. Knee opens out. Take that little abdominal curl up. Floating back down. Once more on each side. And we're zoning in on keeping those hips really nice and stable and still there. Release in there. Lovely. Take a deep breath in for me. We're going to explore our two-legged 100 position, which works for some of us and not others. We'll take a nice deep breath in. We're going to allow that right knee to lift. Now, we've got a neutral spine position here, so it's a natural curve in the lower back, hips and pubic bone are level. From there, we'll push the lower back into the floor, really draw the belly button down, and then we're going to allow the second leg to lift. Now, when I do that, I've got my knees coming in quite tight to me. So I want to then find the place where I'm challenging myself, but keeping the lower back pressing into the floor. So I allow my knees to come to hover back above the hip socket and I bring the calf to a 90-degree angle. So we're squeezing in through the tummy. We've got the lower back pressing into the floor and we're in our modified two-legged 100 position. If you're thinking this is too much of a demand on my tummy, I'd rather work with one leg lifted, that's fine. If you're thinking this is creating a strain in my lower back, I'd rather you worked with one leg lifted. So we take a nice deep breath from here. As we breathe out, we're going to stretch the right leg away from us as if we're pressing a button on the wall beyond us. And then we'll breathe in as we draw the leg back. If you're working with one leg lifted, do 5 on that side, then change over to the other side. If you're working with 2 legs lifted, we're going to change legs each time. Now we've got the lower back pressing into the floor, connected to the floor, and we've got the belly button squeezing in. We're changing legs each time. One leg stretches away. We breathe in as the leg returns. Leg extends away, drawing that leg back in. Good. One more on each side for me. Hold it for me here. Hopefully you've worked equally the right side and the left side if you're working with one leg lifted. Allow the right knee to be lifted. Take a deep breath, or you've got 2 legs lifted, either 2 legs or the right leg lifted. You're going to allow the right thigh to start to dip down towards the floor. So the right thigh starts to lower. Probably the toe touches the floor and we draw the leg back in. Change over to the other side if you're working with 2 legs lifted. If you're working with one leg lifted, do 5 on that side and then change sides. So this is our scissor action. The thighs kind of scissor one another. So if you want to find more of a scissor action, as one toe starts to lift, the other one starts to dip down. So they do crisscross each other. You can either work for 5 on one side and then 5 the other side, or you can be working with 2 legs. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more up there, open up the angle of the knee, make the leg a longer lever, and it'll become a little bit heavier and more challenging. That second side, when you've done 5 on each side, we'll allow the knees to come in and we'll give them a good hug. Left leg to stay hugging in as we stretch the right leg away from us, resting that leg down onto the floor, lengthening away. Drawing that leg in, changing over to the other side. Left foot in and allow the left foot to rest down onto the floor. We'll allow the right leg to stretch up towards the sky. Now if you've got a band, you may want to wrap the band around your foot. Otherwise you can hold on around the back of your thigh. Some of us find that our arms just aren't long enough to grab hold of the thigh, in which case it's good to have a band, a belt, strap or something that you can wrap around the foot, and then it takes the strain out of the upper body. When we're here, we'll just tuck the chin in slightly so we've got that sense of length across the back of the neck. Really nice deep breaths and see if you can let go of any tension that you're holding on to in the top part of the body. And then seeing if you can let go and find a little bit more stretch in the back of that thigh. And then just gently come across the midline of the body, finding that stretch on the outside of the thigh. So keep that squeeze in the tummy for me, just releasing the arms from there, and with a nice extended leg, if you can, gently circle the leg. You've got 3 in one direction, 2, circling back the other way, 3, 2, hips are staying nice and still, and 1. Floating that leg down, change over to the other side. So hold on around the back of the thigh and give it a good stretch, lengthening that leg up for the sky. And let's see if after a few breaths that leg can ease a little. So we might find that the pelvis can release down into the floor a little more. We might find the leg can fully extend a little more and the toes can ease a bit closer towards us. Head is nice and heavy and the chin's tucked in. And then let's just allow that leg to come a little way across the midline of the body. Back to the centre, we'll take the arms away and we'll take a little circle, taking 3, keeping the hips nice and still, 2, and 1, changing the direction of the circle, 3, and 2, and 1, finishing off there. Bring the knees in towards the chest and give them a good hug. Allowing the head to peel up towards the knees, and then we'll start to rock gently forwards and back, and this should feel quite nice. So if you give it more momentum, it'll rock you up to sitting. If you're happy to just allow it to sort of act as a little massage for the back, that's marvellous. And then we will all come up to sitting. We'll join each other in that seated position. There, once we're all up and sitting, we've got the feet together and the knees wide. We're going to lift the shoulders, we're going to roll the shoulders down the back. Once again, just releasing through the neck. That's it, nice. This really lengthened position, just take a little chin nod for me. So just allow the chin to nod towards the chest and then lift. And again, lift, good. We're all poised here and feeling fabulously, gorgeously lengthened. So we're thinking squeezing in through the tummy, toes are going to just lift away from the floor. I'm not going to lie, there's a little bit of a tip in the pelvis when we sort of rock into that position. So the toes are lifted and the shoulders are gliding down the back, and we are feeling as lengthened and as lifted as we can. Nice and deep with the breath. The right leg extends out to the side. If this position doesn't work for you, you can come into the position where the knees are together, and we can do the same thing in that kind of boat pose position. We're squeezing through the tummy. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Lovely. Shoulders gliding down the back, we're lifting. Ooh, who's feeling adventurous? We are. Arms lift. There it is. Ah! Nice one. And releasing, swinging the legs around. Let's tuck the toes under from there. Toes a little rock back and forwards just to make sure they're still awake. Toe always complains on this one. It's good for it though. And then we'll press the heels into the ground. Let the head be heavy. Heels descend down and we'll roll up through the spine. Of all, when we get there, we'll lift the shoulders, we'll roll the shoulders back and down. Just take any postural checks that you need to take. Check the knees aren't locking. Yeah, gorgeous, good. Lengthening really gorgeously tall. We'll allow the heels to lift away from the floor, taking that rise. And then stay as tall as you are, lower the heels. Stay tall, 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 tall. A deep breath, reach tall. Breathe out and let it all go. Give it a good shaker. Give yourselves a round of applause. Well done, guys.